What's up, it's Sean Baligian.
What up, this is Joyce Bell here on the Baligian Bell Show.
Make sure you check us out on the Woodward Sports Network. What is going on? So glad you could join us on a Wednesday here at Woodward Sports. He's Joyce Bell. I'm Sean Baligian. It's not just any Wednesday. It's...
What up, doe? What up, doe, dog? Put them L's up. Put those L's up.
When you did that sports update, that was so great. You go, what up, doe, dog? Like that, and I was like, he's L-Town. He's L-Town. You got the L-Town thing going on, man.
I was just mimicking you. You know,
Yeah,
they can
easy.
They can only be one Sean Baligian. I was doing my
the
read.
most unhyped person in the history of man.
No, I was in the back doing my read with Justin, and I went through it like twice on the last one, and he said, "Oh, you sound really good. You sound like Sean Baligian." I said, I sound like Sean. No. Please, God, no. He said, no, you just sound like you know what you're doing.
You know what? I've said this once. I've said this 100 times, and it just so happens he's sitting in the room. Maz is tremendous at giving updates. Joyce, I say it all the time. This business, you can draw a parallel and an analogy to sports. I mean, seriously, you can. You got to know your strengths. There are some backs that are good blocking backs.
Right.
There are some guys that should never, ever be put in the position to try to block a rushing linebacker. You know what I mean? Much like there are some linebackers who should never, ever be put in the position, Jared Davis, to be caught in coverage. Why are you asking a guy to go cover Zeke Elliott out of the backfield? He can't do it. Why are you doing that? Why are you putting him in that position?
Hey,
so
trying to bring the
it's
greatness.
know your strengths, right?
Trying to bring the greatness out of him.
Jenna, good morning. Lynn, good morning.
Learning how
Derek,
to
hey,
reinvent
fellas.
yourself.
You can get better at things. I'm a firm believer in that. Like reps will get you better at things, but is it going to make you as good as a blocker as Joyce Bell was? Like that's just never going to happen for some running backs. You know what I mean?
I feel you.
It's no matter how much work you put into it. It's never
a skill set, and it's repetition. So it's doing something over and over and over again until you get to a point to where you start figuring out little tricks to the trade. You have a 265 linebacker blitzing you, coming in full speed, trying to bull rush you. What do linebackers hate most? Any defensive play, what do they hate the most? They hate being cut. All right, and so the only way for me to slow down that 265-pound man is by fake cutting him to slow his feet down. And as soon as he slows his feet down, I got him. I'm getting in him. Right. Get my hands inside the shoulder pads. And at that time, it's just you got to push me back. And once I sit back, come on, Sean, I'm not getting pushed back. Those good times, though. That's one thing about the game I miss, right? Sometimes I just visualize myself just putting my hands on the line back and just.
Doesn't that scare you, Art?
I visualize
one day he's going to have a
I
flashback
visualize
and
it.
he's going to do it to you and me.
I mean, that's when I play. I used to visualize. I used to
Joey.
visualize it when I used to play. Art, raise your hand. But I'm at a point now to where I can sit back, I can relax, I can enjoy the game, and I can reminisce and live those glory days a little bit. Live them out.
You know what? I'm sorry. We got a lot of stuff to get in today. Obviously, the Maverick stuff is going to be front and center. We're going to get into that. Joy, I am fascinated to hear you say that though, because I would assume that you're thinking about 4th and goal from the 1 and getting the rock and pounding in, but you're thinking about the little things.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Thinking about the time we were playing the Vikings and we're on the goal line and we're in shotgun. Go figure. Go figure. And I remember, I believe the DB comes off the edge. Actually, it was the safety came down, blitzed off the edge. And I remember I don't know what he was doing, but I got underneath and I picked him up in the air, and over my head, and it was a dump. It was, and so when we're watching film, he was on the emphasis tape. And so emphasis tape is basically where you come in after the game on Sunday, or it could be during the week in practice, but they bring up a clip, and they call it emphasis tape. And so this particular game on this Monday, when we watched film, I had him on emphasis tape.
Captain Insano.
This is how you block. This is how you block. Caught him in the air. I don't know what he was trying to do, but by the end of it, he was on his head. And you live for those moments.
Ooh.
You live for those moments when you're playing.
Love it, love it, love it. By the way, now, Jenna, you're making me hungry because Jenna was talking about, have you ordered your punchkis for next Tuesday? And then she said a place in Warren has cannoli cream-filled punchkis. Do you like cannolis?
I do like cannolis.
Ooh. Boy, doesn't that sound good? Art, you
know,
down
they're
with
not,
that?
you know what, though? They're
See,
okay.
you can't, though, Art.
Why
I'm
can't
not
Art?
here.
Oh, Art's not here. Sorry.
I'm supposed to raise my hand.
Oh, boy.
I mean,
Mass?
you
Cannoli
see,
cream punchki? My gosh.
you know, some people getting their feelings in this show, but this show is just about facts. And, you know, there's no feelings involved. It's all love. Like, I'm still kind of hurt that, you know, I talked to my grandma. My grandma told me I need to be nice. So I said, okay, cool. So what do? I hop on Call of Duty. Guess who's on there? Art's on there.
Is this a true story?
I was on a business call.
No. Were you on the game? Could have said not joinable. That means you were in the game, so you wasn't on the business call.
Oh, yeah, during that time, I was totally playing with my friends.
Right. And so I sent him a friend request.
I did not get it, Joik, honestly.
No, not a friend request. I sent him an invited request to come play with me. I'm like, you know what, let's hatch it up. You know, we got to work together, so let's make it enjoyable. So
You
I
could
go in
schedule an
there. I'm
appointment
still
next time.
talking. I'm still talking to Art. And so I said, Art, you know, I invited you. You know, he doesn't show up. He doesn't respond. He doesn't nothing. This morning, I park the car. I come in. Art is walking down the hall. I'm walking down the hall. I put my hand up to dap him up. You know what he does? He walks right past me.
Arthur, is that true?
I didn't see his hand.
And then Grammy whammy. And then you wonder why I treat him the way. You know what, though? So, Grammy, I tried. It's not going to work. You know, I'm trying to be the best grandson I can be. But on this show, it's not going to work. You see how he knows you're watching, he knows you're watching, and he's still using profanity? So it's disrespectful.
Art's got his hand up.
Disrespectful.
Can we go to him?
He's musty. I smell it.
can I say
I smell his
something?
arm up.
Yes, Art.
I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not feeling very well because I had too much caffeine to try and produce 2 shows while doing the audio, video, and graphics, so I will apologize for not seeing your hand. I was kind of in a rush to get to the studio. As far as last night goes, I did not see your request. Shoot me a text.
Sean,
Yeah.
he got more excuses than a person going to jail.
I've been to jail, so.
You got more excuses than one, too. Well, back to the show. Who's to the Lions draft in the first round this year? Who do you have? 7th pick overall.
Can we do the who do I want?
Who do you want?
I want so badly. and
Who do you
he's-
want that's going to be there at 7?
Okay, now you ruined
Yes,
it.
let me rephrase
It's quite the quandary. It's quite the quandary because you could do linebacker out of Penn State. It's a need. You could go wide receiver, but a lot of people think that wide receiver at that point in time is overvalued. To me, I think if you get yourself a stud, then I'm not worried about it. If you get your full-fledged, if you get Calvin Johnson, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, to those people that think that wide receiver is overvalued, Calvin Johnson went 2. How'd that work out?
How did that work out?
You know what I mean? So, Joik, in a perfect world, I'd love to flip that pick into more picks. I really would this year because I don't think they're going to go quarterback this year. I truly don't think they're going to go quarterback.
Right.
You could take a chance on Lance, is what
How many picks do you think you get for that first
for
round?
the 7?
Yeah.
Well, if there is a if there is a run on quarterbacks, which I'm convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt there's going to be, I'm convinced that 3 quarterbacks are going to be gone.
Right.
And then you have a team, pick any team you want, that really loves Lance, that thinks that guy, give him a year to grow, that guy is going to be a stud. You know, he just might not be ready to jump in right now. At that point in time, I really wonder how good of a package it might be if they're willing to move up. But without taking all that into consideration, because we don't know exactly what the board's going to look like,
we can wait,
and what other people want. That's exactly
we can wait.
But to answer your question, if I would go wide receiver there, and I know a lot of people would yell at me for it, but I would go wide receiver.
No, I don't disagree with you. I don't mind bringing Waddle in.
Mm-hmm.
I have to look at his medical records.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have to pass physicals.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure there's no long-term damage in that ankle. That would be my only issue. That would be my only concern.
Out of the 3, that would be the one that I'd like, because there are 3 wide receivers you're talking about there.
Yeah.
2 from Alabama, 1 from LSU. Waddle would be my guy too.
Yeah, he'll be my guy. Yeah. He'll be my guy.
I don't think there's a guarantee the Lions stay at 7. I really don't. I really don't.
But that would be my pick. It'll be Waddle, and like I said, my only concern would be his ability to overcome his ankle injury and seeing if it will affect him long term. That's it. That's my.
Maz said Waddle is Tua, no way. Do you have a favorite amongst them, Maz?
Devontae.
Do you?
DeMonte.
Do you know what I worry about him? I worry about how slight he is. He's slight. You know what I worry about. You can get away with that in college.
Yeah.
Because they're all, look, there's no perfect pick.
I'm going to tell you this.
I'm not saying you're wrong, okay?
No, I'm saying he's wrong.
But each one of them have, okay, you brought up the red flag about Waddle. That's a red flag. Smith, that's a red flag. The kid out of LSU, I'm sorry. Images of Mike Williams with Cheeto-stained fingers come dancing through my hand. I don't like the idea of taking a guy that's been out for a year. I just don't. And maybe that's just me having, aftershocks of the whole Mike Williams thing. But I really don't. But Joik, you hit the net. To me, if everything checks out with Waddle, I think he's the pick. I think my buddy Scott Bischoff would agree too.
Devontae is who? Mass? Devontae is who? Tariq?
No, Tyreek. He said he was slight. Tyreek is slight as well.
No. I would say, how much does he weigh? How much?
$170.
$170. Now, that's not too, I've seen guys who play wide receiver come in the NFL smaller than him and play. You remember that receiver? He was a returner who played for the Redskins. It was like 145 Banks. You remember him? Mm-hmm. But was fast, couldn't get a hand on him. I remember he took a kickoff back on us when I played for the Bills. Guy was fast. Small, you get your hands on him, you can do some damage. But you couldn't catch him. I don't think Devontae is going to be a bust. I think he's going to do well in the league. Do I think he's going to have the same success in the NFL they did in college? I'm not going to say yes and no.
Do you know the only thing that I would say about Tyreek and Devontae has good, not great speed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's what scouts are saying. He's got good speed, not
I'm gonna tell you
Tyreek speed.
This is the type of I don't see how Mass can even compare Devontae to Tariq as far as Do you know what type of speed? Do you know what type of speed he has?
Yeah, that's
high school.
Yeah, that's just
in high school. He was running a 20.03 in the 200-yard dash, which was like, and this is like in high school. 10 point, what was his 100? Like a 10.3, 10.4, something ridiculous. I mean, he was a fast kid. Devontae doesn't have that speed. Devontae might be a 10.6. Just body. But how big Tyreek Hill is? Do you know? Is more stout than that.
Do you know? Can I bring this up? And it's funny because Brandon said Erskridge, fastest guy in the wide receiver in the draft, slot return guy, and everything. I think guys like that can be taken later in the draft, like Tyreek was. Does that make sense? Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody fact check. Wasn't Tyreek a 5th round pick? I think. You know what? Now I'm going to look it up. Damn it. Just give me a second. Talk amongst yourselves. Pick a topic, okay?
Pick a topic.
Yeah, whatever you guys want. Tyreek Hill was a 5th-round pick, 165 overall. So can you get a guy like that later in the draft? That's the argument that people make about wide receivers in general. You know, you don't the position is overvalued early on, and that's why I said some people may not like it when I say if everything checks out. Boy, we're on the same page, and we didn't talk about this ahead of time. If everything checks out with Waddle, I think he's the pick. But the flip side to that, the red flag that people would throw out there is say, well, why are you overvaluing that position? Look at some of the quality wide receivers that have come out in the 2nd and 3rd and 4th round. You know, find yourself another Brandon Ayuk. Find yourself another Kenny Galladay. Things like that. That's what people are going to say.
And they're out there.
Yeah. No question.
They're out there.
Wide receiver is at a premium now, man. No question about that.
You know, but you can do all these things that we want to do in the draft later in the draft. I don't mind giving out that 7th-round pick to a team that really needs a quarterback or that a guy that might still be there. That's why we can wait until the draft, and they can make the trade like right before their draft pick. You know, you don't know what they might do. I don't mind getting 3 picks for that 7th round.
I'd love it. And again, this goes back to the topic that keeps coming up on this show, and I'm going to keep saying it because this is what they're doing, whether you want to believe it or not. They're building towards the future. I mean, that's just the way it is. I'm not saying that they're going to throw away the season. They're professional athletes. You've heard Joik say that 1,000 times. They don't care that people think they're going to stink. They don't care that people think that it's going to take 2 or 3 years. They're going to go out there and do everything they can. The circumstances aren't very easy this year, and part of that is because they finally said the way we operate doesn't work. Let's build it the right way. But part of that, Joik, is to accumulate as many draft picks as you can. And that's how you get better, period, end of story. The NFL is very nice in that regard. If you suck, the NFL says, that's okay, slugger. We have this thing called the draft, and you're going to get a higher pick than other teams. Now, we can't make you better. You have to be better, but they give you the little pat on the head and say, go get him, champ. I mean, really, that's what the NFL is. And the Lions have been so inept, they haven't been able to take advantage of that. But now they're saying, well, if we increase our picks, the likelihood that some of these guys hit goes very higher. And, oh, by the way, we're bringing in a guy that has a reputation of finding value out of the draft. Okay, I'm in. Sign me up. So, wait a second. I have to live a couple more years of what I've lived my entire mother-scratching life, and in 2 years from now, you might be pretty good? Okay. Sign me up.
Yeah, sign you up.
Right?
Sign you up.
It's a no-brainer.
But that's what sold you on Brad Holmes, though.
I love him.
Because did you love him this much when we first signed him?
Yes. Only because you know what a nerd I am. I asked people whose opinion I trust, and he's a scout guy, and this team has desperately needed a scout guy forever.
Right.
Okay?
We don't need any more business people. We need people who know football.
Hetch, no.
What'd you say?
Hetch, no.
Okay, making sure. He said Hetch, no, Grandma.
Listen,
that's what he said.
I made a promise to somebody that I'm going to watch my language for now.
You know what's funny, though?
I get too worked up.
You know what's funny, though?
Hi, Lauren.
And so a coach used to do this. He wanted to stop cursing, and so in practice, every time he cursed, he would have to make a mark, right? He had to make a mark on this, And when it was over, when the season was over with, or when that day was over with, he'll have to put money into a jar.
Yep.
$1 for every cuss word. It might have been $1, $5, $10, whatever. I don't know what it was, but he had to put in after every time for every curse word he said throughout the day, and so. At the end of the year, he had enough money. He'll donate it to like some type of charity, right? But he said he got tired of. He didn't get tired of donating, but he got tired of donating for that reason. So he started to minimize his curse words to a point where he didn't have to chart down his curse words anymore because he just wasn't doing it anymore.
Beautiful.
You should start doing that.
Well, you know what we did in our house, Maz? I don't know if you remember this. We this is going back a few years ago. we had not only a jar in the house, but we had a rule: you had to either drink hot sauce or vinegar, if you swore in the house.
Hot sauce
And we went a year and I didn't do it, and like everybody else in the family did, and they were in shock. And then when I blew it, Maz, I'm sorry to bring this up, you might remember this. Trouble with the Snap, the Michigan State game in 2015. I lost my bleep so much. I was like, "Are you bleeping kidding me? Are you?" And my daughter is just standing like 10 feet away, going, "Vinegar, hot sauce, $1," because I let out so many in the span of about 10 seconds. I'm like, "You gotta be bleeping vinegar! Oh my bleep! Hot sauce! You kidding me? $5? It was one of those things. So
$5.
I got it all out. I got it all out in the span of about 30 seconds after that famous or infamous play between Michigan and Michigan State with the punt and everything. But it's kind of funny how that works itself out. But you just tell yourself, I'm not going to do it.
How was your palate after that day?
What's that?
How was your palate?
Oh, it was unbelievable. I would have drank a bottle of vinegar that day. You kidding me? That win was. You could, Joy, you could play that game 100 times, and you couldn't replicate that play if your life depended on it.
That was horrible.
It was pure luck. Come on, it was bad luck for Michigan, and don't overthink that. That was just it was a tough luck play. Hi, Art. He raised his hand.
Hi, I was wondering if I could make a suggestion. Can we have a rude jar, and every time Joik is rude to me, he has to give me $1? Because that would be really nice.
Oh, that's cool, because I would have had about $100 from you already if we had, you didn't accept my invitation and you just left my hand up there when you walked by me in the hallway. For sure.
Okay, we could start first.
Grammy Whammy, what do you think? The rude jar? And I'm going to, Grammy Whammy's the judge.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a rude jar. It's not a rude jar.
No, Grammy Whammy can decide if you're being rude or not.
I want you guys to understand that, when you're disciplining your kids, it's a difference between being rude and being stern.
Your kids.
You know what I'm saying? I'm being stern. Because, some people just they don't have that in them, right? And so sometimes I have to let Art know, like, some things can't be allowed.
You look great today, bud.
Speaking of what can't be allowed, I appreciate it. But thinking about what can't be allowed, Russell Wilson, his frustration. Let's talk about that when we come back after these messages.
Hey, it's Joey from Woodward Sports, and I am here in downtown Fenton at Bridge Street Exchange. This place has so many amazing things for guys and ladies. This is the hidden spot that you got to come check out. I'm talking Thorogood boots, best boots ever. They have barware. They got the Stormy Cromer hats. They got Carhartt hats, a huge Carhartt selection. They even got Snoop Dogg underwear. So go check them out, bridgestreetexchange.com, and use the code word WSN for 15% off.
Hey, want to tell you to start a new career in an industry that is always essential, the heating and cooling industry. Learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu. Coming up on the show, we are going to hit on the situation with the Mavericks. Look, it's a hot button topic to say the very least. I think a lot of the same variables come into play, and I get sad when I hear stories like this. There's just no other way I can say it. And we'll get into that as well. But, Joik, as you said, Russell Wilson speaking out. Let me ask you a question. Is this the precursor to saying things are starting to fade down, our window is starting to close, get me out of here? Is that it? Because a lot of times I
don't think that's what he's saying.
See, and let me call myself out, okay?
Yeah.
You know better than anybody as a professional athlete that when people hear this, especially those evil, dastardly media people like me, we're left to draw conclusion as to what they're saying. So, like, for example, Aaron Rodgers. A lot of people feel that he's laying the groundwork for his eventual departure from Green Bay. Is this part of the issue right now with Russ in Seattle?
When you look at what he said, I think he says it as professional as possible to let you know that he loves playing for the Seahawks. But when you have that quarterback position, you don't want to be taken, 30 plus hits a year back there, getting 30 plus sacks, you don't want that.
Shout out to the Staffords.
Yeah, you don't want that for multiple reasons. It makes your job harder, and it shortens your lifespan in the NFL. And so what he's saying is correct. He needs protection. Now, we talked about how good his legs are. He doesn't want to use his leg. Like, he's past that point. He'll use them if he has to, but he doesn't want to keep running around the pocket, making incredible throws as he's going out of bounds. He can do it, but what quarterback wants to do that day in, day out? He needs protection. Plain play, period.
It's interesting because I think you've heard some guys that have left Seattle kind of say the same thing. The reputation forever and a day was Pete Carroll was the ultimate players coach, right? Isn't that what everybody said?
Yep.
Pete Carroll, he's the man. I kind of look at the Seattle Seahawks, and even though they went to 2 Super Bowls and won 1, I hear former players say this all the time, and there has been some finger pointing at Russell Wilson. I'm not there. I don't know who's right and who's wrong. But you hear people sit back and say that they should have won more. And this almost seems to me like, Joik, you talked about the window that your team had. You knew that there was a couple-year window, and you better jump through that window or it's time to rebuild. Is this a jump through the window?
No.
And they missed the window to win more? Because I'll tell you what, at the beginning of last year, for people that were following, Russell Wilson got off to such a tremendous start. He was on pace to shatter the record for most touchdowns in a season. And then a few weeks in, you're talking like 5-6 weeks in, and then all of a sudden something happened, and they quite frankly stopped being prolific. And you know what? They lost to a Rams team in the playoff that started their backup quarterback and then threw in a guy by the name of Jared Goff because their backup quarterback got hurt. And they lost to that team. You remember that game?
I remember that
miserable. They didn't look good at all.
Yeah, they look bad offensively.
Yeah.
For sure. But even though they didn't have their starting quarterback, I give it to the Rams. That's a pretty good football team. Now, that's not the best they've been.
Sure.
But it's a pretty good football team.
Sure.
And they came out and they started to win more games towards the tail end, and they made you put some respect on their names. And by all means, neither did I think that the Rams would beat the Seahawks in that game.
No, sir.
There's a lot of games that we predicted that were wrong.
Hell yeah, sir.
Yeah. And that's
including the Super Bowl.
Including the Super Bowl. And the crazy part is that's what's so beautiful about this league. Any given Sunday or Saturday in some cases, any team can win. People look at records, but they don't look at the overall. The overall is the NFL are the top NFL players or football players in the world, right? Playing in one league, and regardless of the record, every dog can find a bone in the trash any given day. And so that's what happened with a lot of these teams. I mean, even Washington almost beat Tampa. That was a great game. That game was actually better than the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So
somebody brought it up. Kenny said they would have won more if they handed the ball off at the goal line. As a player, as a running back, as a guy who played with Marshawn Lynch, Joik, let me give you my opinion first. I still think that was the stupidest, dumbest, most boneheaded. You don't come back from that call. You have Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. Beast mode.
Yeah.
A guy that he's going to get in.
He got you down there. They couldn't stop him all game.
For the life, and I've heard every justification, and every time I just go, nah, nope. Am I overreacting to that? As a guy who's been there, done that, it's just such a bonehead.
I'm going to tell you now. I'm going to tell you this.
Maz is sitting there going, it'd be one less Super Bowl for Brady, damn it. Really, it's just a bonehead call.
It was a bonehead call. Not only was it a bonehead call, but Pete Carroll is probably one of the only coaches that can make that call in the Super Bowl and still have his job at the end of the season.
I agree. Oh, I agree.
I've talked with players who played on that team or played with Marshawn, right? And if you remember that game on that particular play, before the play happened, Brady was on the sideline with his head down because he just knew they were going to lose. And so when they ran that play, and Butler, I can't remember who they throwing it to. I can't remember who they were throwing it to. But Butler, like, he intercepted it by just, making a great play on the ball. And Brady could have been a kid in a candy store.
Yeah.
How he jumped up. He was so surprised. And the look on Richard Sherman's face of disgust. Of disgust. He was disgusted. I mean, and so I would hear stories about, like, the next year, when they came back and or they'll be in a locker room, like OTS, whatever, and these are rumors, but it's coming from some valuable sources, that whenever Pete Carroll will walk by the players in the hallway or around the facility, and Marshawn would point at him, this is what they said, I don't know. He said, it's his fault right here. As he's walking by, it's his fault right here. We lost that game right here.
Damn.
It's real valuable sources. And it's his fault. It's his. This is a player's game, but that play call right there cost him the game. And the excuse they gave at the end of the game on why they ran that play just disgusted me more. It just disgusted me.
You know what? And you talk about, everybody's wrapped up in talking about legacy long before guys are different. I think we look at Russell Wilson. I think we look at the Seattle Seahawks differently if they go back to back. I really do. I think it's a completely different narrative for Seattle.
Yeah, we have
Russell doesn't get the credit he deserves. By the way, I'm just going to get that.
First of all, I love Russ as a quarterback.
Yep.
I trust Russ. All right, but Russ wasn't the one who got us down there. They couldn't stop Marshawn Lynch that entire drive. Give him the ball, let him score. Give him the ball. It was less than a minute left.
It was like 23 seconds. I think it was 23 seconds.
And the excuse for him throwing, you know what the excuse was? He said we wanted to throw the ball. If it's an incomplete, we wanted to waste a little bit of time off the clock. We didn't want to get a ball back to Brady with too much time on the clock. What? How many timeouts did they have left? I think
it was one. I think they had one timeout.
So you don't want to you don't want to go score a touchdown, right? Score a touchdown, which is going to take more time off of the clock. By running it, it's going to take more time off of the clock, right? Kick the ball off, squib it, take about another 3 to 4 seconds off, probably more than that, and they give him a field of 80-plus yards or 75 yards to go downfield with one timeout. What? You have that? You don't have any trust in your defense? I didn't get it. Now, Pete Carroll is a great coach. I mean, he has a Super Bowl, under his belt. So as a head coach, so I can't say anything. But for that particular play at that particular time, with those weapons in your backfield, you hand the ball off.
Okay, I have heard this. I don't know if this is 100% true. All right, so much like you were just talking about a story, I have heard this, and this kind of makes me respect Pete Carroll. Evidently, and you guys tell me if you heard this, it wasn't Carroll that made that decision. It was a fella by the name of Darrell Bevel that made that decision. And Pete Carroll has never thrown him under the bus. That's what I heard. Have you heard that? Is that?
That's a fact.
Okay, yeah, and
That's a fact.
Pete has never, as far as I know, Pete has never thrown him under the bus saying, that was my offensive coordinator. Hindsight being 20/20, I should have said, F you, we're punching the ball in. I've never heard Pete Carroll say that, but
in that particular point in the game, it falls on the head coach. That's leadership. He took it, and no.
I think it does too.
It falls on the head coach.
He
made the call, but you're the head coach. You may have the final say-so.
That's why.
And that's another reason why he probably didn't throw him under the bus, because at the end of the day, he always has the last say-so.
No diss to you. That was part of my issues with Coach Caldwell. Like when he would have those moments where he screwed up time or he had 9 guys on the field or something, I was like, okay, I get it. that's your special teams coach. But at the end of the day, you're the head coach. You're at the top of the umbrella. You know what I mean?
You know what, though? Players on the field is different. Play calling, you can control that. All right. There's a lot of stuff going on in the game, and as a head coach, you want to make sure you have 11 people on the field, but that's not my biggest concern. My biggest concern is what play we're about to run, or, the time on the clock. Yes, we have to know the time on the clock. I mean, we go over that every day during the week. We go through certain scenarios in the game that might happen, dealing with time, and this is how we have to handle it. I think he did a great job with preparing us for that portion. That play call in that Super Bowl when they didn't get the ball to Marshawn Lynch at the 2 or 3 yard line.
It's atrocious.
Where they couldn't stop Marshawn the entire game, and they even I think they had timeouts. So if they didn't get in, they could have ran it down a little bit more and called a timeout. So
Joik, I don't understand in that position. The only two people that know when the ball's going to be snapped are the quarterback and the center, right? I don't even know in that position at that time of the game. Okay, Russ, call your number. You know the routine. You need a couple feet, man. Just get that surge. Have the quarterback just barely touch that white line. Anything other than what that call was made.
I'm not passing the ball in that situation.
I'm just not either. I'm with you.
I'm not passing the ball. But
I'm with you.
But hey,
if you're at the 5 yard line, okay.
Yeah.
And
then that's another sign of leadership, and that's why I respect Pete Carroll, because not only did he not throw his OC under the bus, but at the same time, he knew at the end of the day, I'm the head coach. I let that play happen. So ultimately, it was my call.
Yeah.
So
what do you think this is? Is this just a guy talking out loud? I mean, as he said, he kind of common senses it. He says, hey, look, find me a quarterback that likes to get hit. He said, quote, part of it, like any player, you never want to get hit. That's your reality of playing this position. Ask any quarterback who wants to play this game. No quarterback wants to get hit, right?
Yeah. He said he's been sacked almost 400 times. Says he's frustrated with getting hit too much. I mean, who wants to get sacked 400 times? Now, at the same time, is that his fault for holding the ball too long, or is it really because of the protection around him? Is it because of the receivers can't get open? Is it play calling? It's bigger than just my offensive linemen are not blocking well. It's bigger than that. It's more than that. They can block for five seconds, but if the receivers can't get open because of the play calling, or you don't have that talent, I think they have talented receivers. They can get open. All right, they can get open. Now, at this particular point in time, I think it might be dealing with the offensive lineman and what it might be.
Yeah. That guy, his ability to keep plays alive, I love watching him play. I was a big fan of his at Wisconsin. I mean, honest to goodness, I thought, how is this guy slipping? Third round? The guy just made plays. He just, ask any Spartan fan out there that had to see him twice that year. The miracle with the Hail Mary in 2011 and then the championship game. I mean, it was like, if this is a sign of what this guy's going to be in the National Football League, he's going to be one hell of a player. And quite frankly, I think scouts really missed on Russell Wilson. Make no mistake about that.
For sure.
All right, let me ask you. Here we go. This often comes up on this show. Russell Wilson, Hall of Famer.
Not yet.
I feel the same way. He's got to put more up there.
Yeah,
he's got to put more up.
He's great quarterback. I'm not gonna call him good. He's a great quarterback.
I think he is too.
Yeah, I think he's a great quarterback.
I think you can use that G word.
Yeah, I think he's a great quarterback. He just needs to prove it. He needs to prove it for a few more years.
It was funny. I remember people. I used to, on my former radio show, I used to talk up Russ a lot, and people around here would try to compare him to Matthew Stafford, and I would always say, stop it. And again, you know how those conversations happen. Somehow that's me dogging Matthew Stafford. I've made my feelings abundantly. I think Matthew Stafford is a darn good quarterback. I think Russell Wilson's better. Like no diss. I mean, that's just – I don't think there's a comparison to what those two do.
Overall quarterback, more accomplished, I would say Wilson. I would say Russell Wilson. Arm talent, I'm going to give it to Stafford.
All day.
Legs, Russell.
Yeah.
Accuracy, I don't know. They're about the same to me. I don't know, about the same. It's just Russell's able to he's able to elongate more plays because of his leg talent. And so, and then he's also had, I'm not going to say he's had more weapons, but, he's been surrounded by a good team. Not great team, but he's been surrounded by a good team. Well,
I would love to see what Stafford could have done in his prime, and we'll find out how much is left. Obviously, I'm not saying he's at the end.
Now. So how old is Stafford right now?
33.
33. Russell's is 32. They're a year apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, Russell's playing some great ball.
He's going to be 30. I think Stafford's 34 next week.
No. He's 34. I think he turned 34 on the 6th.
Is that what it is?
I think he just turned 34.
That's awesome that you know his birthday. Did you wish him happy birthday?
I actually did.
Did you really?
I actually did.
You're a good human.
Nah.
The 7th, yeah. He
7th,
turned,
something like that.
Yeah. Yep. He turned 33 the 7th. So
33.
Yeah, there you go.
33, yeah.
That's funny.
Yep. So
we'll find out.
Yeah, and so Russell will be 33 this year. So they're actually the same age then. Because Russell will be 33, I think. He played this last year, 32. So he will be playing this next season, 33 as well. So
yeah, people forget how young Matthew was when he came
out,
right?
He was really young. he's 12 years in, and he's
Russ had NC State and Wisconsin. Remember, because he went to Wisconsin.
I forgot about that. Yeah. Forgot about that.
Won the damn Big Ten. Not that I was pissed about it or anything.
You were pissed about it.
I was very pissed about it. I was very pissed about it. The first Big Ten championship. It was a great game, but yes, I was very, very pissed about it because they beat Michigan State. So yes, I was very, very pissed about it. You want to get into this Maverick stuff when we come back, the national anthem and all that?
Let's talk about it.
I think it's a great conversation to have. It's going to draw a lot of different opinions. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
If anything, I hope that if you listen to me, I like to be consistent. And I'm going to be consistent about this. 100%. We'll get into it when we come back.
Let's get Art's opinion on this one too when we come back.
Art was fired up about this one. Art was all fired up.
My man!
With the average price for an ounce at Michigan dispensaries being hundreds of dollars, look at they're giving each other love right now.
My guy.
Why not just grow your own? With just one light, you can pull down 48 ounces of your own green every harvest. Do that math. And then head to Grow Green. They have everything you need and a staff of growers to help guide you. Check out the dank deals at growgreenmi.com to score some insane deals like bags of Ocean Forest for $9 and 100 milliliter Clonex gel for only $12. End the sticker shock of dispo prices and start growing your own today with the help of the team at Grow Green. Remember to mention Woodward Sports for a free shirt. Dallas Mavericks causing some ripples. We'll get into them next, right here on Woodward Sports.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We're recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Hi. Welcome back. Before we do that, we talked a little bit about Calvin in the last couple days and the fact that it seems like things are moving in the right direction. Joik, I know you had some insight on that.
Yeah. So, really quick. So, there's been a lot of things coming out ever since he went into the Hall of Fame, and a lot of people have been saying, give that man back his money, which we all believe he should have that money back. But this is a statement directly from Calvin. I know that myself and Sheila Hemp, we've had some great conversations recently. It's been good to get to know her and just have those face-to-face conversations. I think we're moving in the right direction. And so that's great to hear that he's coming back around. It's great to see that Sheila is taking this pride and making sure that the former players who play here are taken care of, especially players of this caliber, right? So we're moving in the right direction, and I'm happy to see that my beloved Detroit Lions are doing the right thing here, and it's been long overdue. So I like what she's doing under her regime.
Joik, I'm going to say it again, okay? And I know a lot of people disagreed with me. But at the same time, I think this franchise has a reputation. And these people get that they have a reputation. And the only way to get rid of a reputation is to not be what people say you are. That's the only way to get rid of that reputation.
That's true.
And it might take years.
Yeah.
It might take a short span of time.
Yeah.
But
You know?
I believe.
What the player that you felt was done that way? That was just done wrong.
I think there are generations of players here that felt alienated by this franchise, and in one player whose name I will not mention, said disposable. They got what they needed out of us, and then they never needed us again. That was told to me off the record, so I hope you can respect the fact I won't tell you who said that.
Yeah.
But he said to me that there were many of his teammates that felt like they were disposable and there was no need for them ever again. And who wants to feel that way? I understand you have a job to do, but whether people want to admit this or not, the NFL is a family. He can speak to that better than I can.
Yeah.
But what people don't, it is a family. And a lot of times it's not just family under that one banner, under that one logo. It's NFL alums looking at each other.
It's that, right?
What's
NFL,
up, fam?
What
all
up?
that stuff.
You know, and we have this NFLPA app that we use where we can stay in contact with players from all throughout the league who is now alumni. When the Lions posted this post of Calvin Johnson making that statement, the first comment that popped up on my feed, you know who it was? Barry Sanders. He said, "That is great to hear."
Love it.
That is
Amen.
great. Because people have to understand that not only are the fans and the people who love the city of Detroit and the Detroit Lions looking at this, but also the alumni is looking at this as well. And one of the most famous of us all, Barry Sanders, is watching this, and he's happy to see that they're making amends. They're rectifying this wrong. It's great to see.
By the way, quick side note, Kenny said, "Oh, Grammy Whammy is going to smile at the love," and Grammy Whammy chimed in, "I'm smiling now."
I see.
There you
Grammy.
go. You see that? Little things can bring people. No, don't shrug your shoulders.
Yeah.
We're making progress, man.
We're
we are
making progress.
making progress.
It's one
So,
example.
you know what? It took me to be the bigger person, and so Grandma, you taught me well. But speaking of things that's happening with different teams, including our Detroit Lions, Texan president has resigned from his position effective immediately, per sources.
What an absolute, I almost swore I caught myself, crap show Houston is. And again, guys, what were we just talking about? Joik, you didn't do this on purpose that I think of, okay? But you want to talk about reputations? It's going to take the Houston Texans a long time to fix their reputation. Mark my words, okay? You have to build back trust in that room. You have to build back trust amongst players. You have a bunch of guys that think you absolutely positively did one of their own in Deshaun Watson wrong. Okay?
Did him wrong. More drama.
So you know what I'm saying? I mean, Joik.
More flags on the play.
There you go. That and it's funny. We didn't mean that. Just came up, and Joik.
Right.
They go hand in hand. Whether you want to admit it or not, they go hand in hand. And that's the Lions have to change that. They have to change
The
that.
reputation of certain teams on the way they treat their players. One of the best teams with the best reputation, I hate to say it, actually I don't hate to say it, but Baltimore Ravens. Once a Raven, always a Raven, all right? And all the players that I know who play for Baltimore, they love the city, they love the team.
Yeah.
It's a culture there. And I preach culture in almost all of our shows because it's so huge, all right? You know, right now, Texans, they have a bad culture. A culture where the players, they don't trust the organization. How do you feel when you have your star player that you just invested over $100 million in say, "I don't trust you"? And you guys can, "I don't care. I got my contract. I got my money. It's not about that. I don't want to play here anymore." Not enough money in the world. You know what they say? Money can't bring you peace of mind. All right. Money can't bring you peace of mind. Now,
We can debate that.
we can debate that. So you saying money brings you happy. So question, for $100 million.
Hell yeah, it does.
So I'll tell you this. I'll give you a
yeah,
perfect
it does.
I'll give you a perfect
I'm
example.
not- yes.
I'll give you a perfect example right now. For $100 million, right, would you give your kids away?
No. Never. There's no.
All right.
But I already have $100 million, so I can keep my kids. That's a joke.
Exactly.
That's a joke.
I mean, and that's so it's just that's what it means. I love the money. It's more than I ever had. I deserve it. I worked my butt off for it. Regardless if it's with you guys, if it's with the Cowboys, if it's with the Ravens, the Washington football team, the Detroit Lions, you guys didn't give me this money. I earned this money. And so regardless of what you say, I appreciate you guys giving me this, paying me what I've earned, but I don't owe you guys anything.
No.
I don't owe. If you invested this money into me to make this franchise a winning franchise, a winning organization, and you guys are making decisions at the top after you guys told me I can come and be a part of that decision making, then I don't even get a phone call. The disrespect, the spit in the spit in my face, to piss on me and tell me it's rain. What?
And it's public.
And it's public.
It's very public. This isn't behind
public.
closed doors.
This is
Everybody around the league knows.
I want out. Pack my bags. I'm not coming back. I have things in my locker. Okay, ship them to me. All right. Ship it to the shelter. I don't want it. Yeah. And so that's where Deshaun Washington is.
They screwed up.
I don't blame him.
This is great. I love what Kevin said, because this goes back to, and Joik, I've said this before, and you were part of this, bringing these guys back for homecoming weekend, or just, these are our honorary captains today. Is it ceremonial? Sure. Mm-hmm. Sure it is. Is it much needed? 1,000%. Okay? And Kevin said, Brett Perriman, Mel Gray, Luther Ellis, Jerry Ball, all Lions. I'd love to see them back in the fold with the team. Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah.
You can't put it.
And they're trying to get better with that, right? So this is what they're doing now. They're having a thing where they have it's like a alumni hall. Basically, every home game, they'll reach out to a lot of the alumni that's in the area, and they'll invite them out for a game. And this every game. They'll invite them out to the game. We have our own suite. They have food. They have things in there. We can bring our family, friends, guests with us. And then on top of that, they give some alumni opportunity to come in and do autograph signing for some of the long time Lion fans who's been Lion fans for the past 40, 50 years. They've had season tickets since their grandfather had it in the 70s and 60s, and they passed it down from the grandfather to the dad and from the dad to the son. And they have these autograph signings to where all these fans could come in and they can meet a lot of the legends. I remember I did one of these autograph signings, and guess who I was with? Your favorite.
You were Billy?
I was with Billy Sims.
No kidding.
Me and
See,
him,
I was
me and
just going to
Billy
tell you a
Sims-
story.
Me and Billy Sims sat down. I was right here.
Love him.
He was right here.
Love
and
him.
we was able to converse. We was able to talk. Great guy. Great personality.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Really
and
is.
we talked about Billy Sims barbecue. We talked about that. We talked about.
So did we.
We talked about life after football. Beautiful wife. Love this wife. And we would sit there. We talk and we do autograph signings, and the people were so happy to see Billy Sims because. Like, where else can you see Billy Sims?
Yeah.
All right. So they was able to come in, get a picture, get an autograph, and be able to kind of converse. And that's what they need to continue to do, to continue to kind of build this culture of once a Lion, always a Lion.
I have always been, I pride myself on this, Joik. You have to be professional in this business when you're talking to guys, okay? Whether you agree with them or not, whether you like them or not or anything. There were a couple times where I'm not joking, and I confess this to Billy when I talked to him. I felt like I was 10 years old when Billy came out and came on the stage with us and was talking to us. I told him point blank before we went on the air, I go, Billy, I'm going to confess this to you, and I hope you don't look at me different. I go, 10-year-old Sean is just weeping tears of joy right now. Like, and you could tell he was very appreciative of that. And he goes, seriously, I was your guy? I go, Billy, you have no idea. I said, in my miserable time being a fan of this franchise, okay, the first few years there was nothing to look at. There was not one player to look at and go, wow, that guy's a stud. You know, Bubba Baker was damn good. Doug English was damn good. And then you got a guy that everybody in football knew from his days at Oklahoma.
Right.
And then he came in and immediately he was Billy Sims. And I was like, I go, you don't, like, I hope you understand the impact that had on this fan base. And sure, you guys didn't win, but for the first time, kids around here were going, we have one of the best players in the league. Yeah. Undoubtedly.
We
one
always
of the
had
best
that,
players
though.
in the
And
league.
we always had that.
See, but my first few years, we had some good players and stinky teams.
Right.
But then we got a full-fledged superstar, man. Billy was a superstar.
He's the man.
And that's what I told him. I go, you, like, the impact that had on generation of kids like me, you can't put a price tag. And he was like, you know, I never thought of it that way.
You know,
like,
you know what I love? You know what I love about hearing you talk about older players? Because the only thing I get to see is what I see on YouTube of clips of Billy Sims.
Yeah.
Because that's your generation,
Yep.
right? You know, my generation was, you know, the Barry Sander.
He was all right.
He was, you know, he was decent. Yeah, he was all right. You know,
He's
he was
okay.
all right. So that's my generation. And so me growing up in Michigan, I used to love watching Barry, watching his clips. And back then we didn't have YouTube. We really didn't have the internet. So I could only see him whenever we did have cable growing up. And spectacular. And I remember going into getting to college, and then in college I was watching Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
You know, I used to love watching him when I was in high school to the NFL. It was great. I mean, and that was the guy I would watch his highlight before every game, every home game. Right? And I would go out there and not try to mimic him, but I would try to create some eye popper, I wanted the crowd to go, ooh.
Yeah.
Whenever I ran the ball in college. Right, and that's the type of explosive player I wanted to be. And so
you had some success at that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I saw you in college, so I can say,
few times, right?
Yeah, you did it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you there were some. I remember one particular time that somebody started
prime.
laughing. I remember he started laughing during a play.
Where?
You were a pinball against Ashland.
Oh yeah.
You just refused to be tackled. I started laughing.
Yeah, you know.
You could put 500 arts out there, and they weren't bringing you down that day.
Oh no.
They just, even if he tried some of his kung fu, Gracie jiu-jitsu stuff,
right.
You weren't going down on that play.
Yeah, no.
Maybe the next play Art would get you, but that play, moment, you weren't going down. No. It was fascinating to watch.
It was good times. Those was good times. But it made me lose my train of thought because we were talking so good.
It's Gracie jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. But anyway, like I said, Barry was our guy. And then once I was able to watch Reggie Bush in college, I mean, I had never, by far, he's the best running back of all time in college to me. And that's my generation. Who's your generation?
Barry is the best running back ever. I always said this. If you want to talk, do you want to talk about more complete? I thought Emmitt Smith was unbelievable. Emmitt Smith was good at blocking. Yeah. Emmitt Smith was good out of the backfield as a receiver.
I love Emmitt.
Barry Sanders was better.
Yeah, he was.
Period.
I mean, for a guy to be at the time ranked number 3 all time in rushing and play 10 years and have the record for the most lost yards in the history of the NFL, rushing yards, it still be ranked number 3.
See, enjoy. This is people around here used to get so offended when I would say that. Look, who would you rather have, Barry Sanders or Emmitt Smith? Barry Sanders. It's okay. I can say, look, Emmitt Smith was more complete. I firmly believe that. Emmitt Smith. Who would I rather have? Barry Sanders.
You have Barry.
Yeah. End.
Yeah.
Barry wasn't blocking anybody. I mean, let's get that out of the way.
He'll cut.
Maybe he'll throw a cut in there.
He'll throw a cut.
And he wasn't as explosive as a receiver as you would have liked him to be. I'll take Barry Sanders all day.
Over 1,000 yards every season he's ever played.
I'll take him every day. Every day. No argument. No.
2,000 over 2,000 yards.
You know who I love that came along later?
Who?
I love LaDainian Tomlinson. Absolutely,
yeah, I like
positive.
LT.
I loved. I like
LT.
He was so exciting to me. He just did a little bit of everything. I loved.
How did you like Marshall Faulk?
in that offense, in the Mike Martz offense, he was as explosive as any running back because of the way they utilized him.
Right.
Mike Martz
Terrell Davis
was TD. Pretty hard to argue. Perfect fit with that team. Mm-hmm. Perfect fit with John Elway.
I love his story though, how they recognized him.
Yeah.
I love the story.
Yeah.
No name coming in and put him out there. Was it the fourth quarter? They kicked the ball off after a touchdown, I believe. Came down and made an eye-popping hit. Caught the eye of everyone. He said, "Who is that guy?" Kept him around a little bit till he was able to get his shine at running back. Similar, you know whose story sounds similar? Mine. No looks.
Yeah.
I didn't get my
I guess
first.
I never thought of it that way. Yeah.
Special teams kept me in the NFL until I got my shot.
D2 guy.
No respect. Had to earn it.
Yeah.
And I love those type of players because I can relate to them.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, but not saying that a first round draft pick, they have pressure as well. They have a lot of pressure because everyone's betting on you to succeed. When you're, an undrafted free agent, you're the only person betting on you to succeed. You and your supporters, your family, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a little different. The pressure's different.
You know what's interesting? By the way, it's noon. Hi. Glad you can join us. Art just sent me this. Stan Van Gundy. Are you familiar with his work? This is a segue. Stan Van Gundy just tweeted out the New York Times story, of course. Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, said he has instructed the basketball team to stop playing the national anthem before its home games this season. Stan Van Gundy said, "This should happen everywhere. If you think the anthem needs to be played before sporting events, then play it before every movie, concert, church service, and the start of every workday at every business. What good reason is there to play the anthem before a game?" I don't agree with his logic there, and I'll tell you why I don't agree with his logic. Because this has been something that has been synonymous with sporting events forever. And this is going to rub people the wrong way, and it already has rubbed people the wrong way. And I've said to you this before, and if anything from watching this show, I pray to God that you guys will at least admit that I'm consistent. I am down for any kind of... I support your right to protest in any way, shape, or form as long as you are not committing criminal, violent activities. And I felt that way about Cap, and I felt that way about the NBA, and I felt that way about the NHL. That's what the best thing about this country is, okay? You have the right to do that. And I stand with your... Whether I agree or not is inconsequential. You have the right to do that. Mm-hmm. Use the right. Use the right. I'm going to say this, though. If you go down this road, this is a completely different can of worms you're opening. Completely different. And here's the thing. You have the right to say you don't want to play the national anthem, but as you and I talk about all the time, you don't have the freedom of consequence. People are going to rain on Mark Cuban for this, and they already are. I mean, that's just the way it is. And if you're cool with that, then you do you.
He knew the consequences of him coming out with this, and he was prepared to deal with it. All right, a lot of people that are trendsetters, right, and they're different. In order to be different, you have to get outside of your comfort zone. All right. This is for sure out of his comfort zone, but it's something that's probably been on his mind. It wasn't something he thought about overnight. He's probably been thinking about this weeks, months, years, and figured if I'm going to do it, this is the best time to do it. And so he made that decision. Art, how do you feel about it?
How do I feel about the anthem not being played?
Yeah, how do you feel about his logic or two things. How do you feel about his logic on not playing the national anthem, and then what is your logic or what is your feelings on the national anthem?
I think that the NBA is built off of the backs of minorities. I really do. I even think currently right now when you look at the roster, it's mainly minority individuals. I know that this isn't going to be a popular take or a hot take. This is just my opinion, and I'll probably get a lot of hate for it. I think that the Star Spangled Banner is outdated. I think Stan Van Gundy was right, in my opinion. You're playing something that was literally, the anthem was built off the backs of slaves. The man who created that song was a slave owner. We don't live in those times anymore, and I don't agree with the song. I support the troops. I support when you say something against the national anthem or the flag.
So you saying, I don't know why we incorporate the national anthem with the troops. We had troops before we had the national anthem.
It's patriotism. It's
right. So, so just say that then.
Well, no, I think it's like, you have to take your hat off and you have to put your hand on your heart and all that. And to me, that doesn't represent the America of today, because when that song was created, there was slavery. There was, there was chaos. I mean, it's a completely different time now. Yeah. I don't agree with the song. I will respect
I think it's
this
just
country.
A cop-out. I think it's just a cop-out for people to use that. And some people might be, they might truly believe that, right? But what about the minorities who wouldn't fought in the war? When they came back, they were still treated like they couldn't go eat in certain restaurants. They'll get kicked out of certain establishments because of the color.
I think it's like, hey, it's time to enjoy a sports show, but first we have to thank our country. And it's like, I know when I was in school, I learned about slavery for about a day, and that was it. And I feel like the education system has failed children now to where it's just stand up for the anthem. That's it. Like I don't agree with
you
that.
bring up such a great point about the troops, and I've never understood this. Okay, I've never understood why the troops come into this argument, because the troops went and fought to preserve the freedoms. That if you make that choice, that you want to do that. Okay, and I'm going to say this again. I cannot state this any more clearly. Okay, I support the right for any peaceful protest. Every American should. Whether you agree with them or not, that's our country is beautiful that way. I'm really, and look, there are a lot of things that I don't agree with. I support your right 1,000%. So at least I'm being consistent there.
Now, do you agree with playing a national anthem? I agree with playing a national anthem before a game. I don't mind that. This national anthem has a. I'm not going. The stars is like I told you, the Star Spangled Banner. I won't say it's racist, but it has a racist origin to it. And if you and for people who don't know what I'm talking about, you have to listen to the entire Star Spangled Banner, not just the part that they play before a game or before a event. You have to listen. It's a stanza, the third stanza. I want to make sure I say it correctly, but it says that no refuge could save the hireling enslaved from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. And so for people who don't understand what that means, basically saying that no one can come and save you guys from slavery. No one can save you. You're going to be a slave until you're in the grave. Right.
Well, do you know what people said about Francis Scott Key back then, the abolitionists? And you have to remember, okay, this is 1814, all right? So we're still, as a country, we're still 50 years away from getting crap right. We are, okay? People back then, abolitionists were kind of thought to be cuckoos, right? And people said the land of the oppressed as opposed to the land of the free. That was like a common refrain thrown to Francis Scott Key's way. What are you talking about, the land of the free? It's the land of the oppressed. And in that context, I would hope that every human being would understand where people are coming from, okay? Yes, that's true. That's real. And this is a guy that owned slaves. And you know what? Many of our forefathers did. Dirty little secret, but that's the fact of the matter and everything.
Yeah.
So
it was the norm then.
Yeah, you know what? Does the American national anthem mean that to people today? Has it meant that to people? It's been bastardized into something completely different. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
I mean, it is a reason to stand up and take off your cap and put your hand over your chest and stuff like that. Yeah. And thankfully, I think we as a society have evolved. Are we all the way there yet? Hell no. We have so much work to do.
It's going to take time.
Be
but
nice.
Understanding is
be nice. And I'm not always the best.
You know
at
what it
that,
takes,
but be
though?
Nice.
It takes these conversations, right? It takes people being able to understand where both sides are coming from, and having and being able to empathize on both ends.
Can I ask a question?
You can ask anything.
Why?
God bless America.
Thank you. And God bless America. I have no problem. I'm not like an anti-patriot or anything like that.
I wasn't taking
no,
a shot
I
at
know,
you,
but
okay?
I've been fired for less, Sean. Here's my question. Why can't we come up with a new national anthem? Why can't we have America the Beautiful sang by Ray Charles to show that, hey, you know what? We're sorry that we screwed over the African-American population that we brought over here on a boat to work for us. The least that we can do as a form of reparation is stop playing an outdated song that was made during
We
the
don't want.
1800s,
I'm gonna let you know right now.
1930s.
We don't want no song for reparations.
No. But what I'm saying is this.
Okay.
The song is tarnished, and it has
All
a
right.
bad image, in my opinion. Why can't we have America the Beautiful? And why can't we change the country bird while we're at it, too? Why don't we change everything? And not to make people happy, but, there's outdated
right there.
things going on right now.
Is there an issue with the bald eagle?
Yeah, make it the turkey.
No, I'm not trying to be funny. Is there like?
I don't like bald eagles.
You just don't like.
I don't like bald eagles. Change them. I'm being a Karen right now.
I'll shoot that turkey. I will make the best Cajun turkey you mothers have ever
Hey,
had.
if you make the bald eagle the national bird? Bird. You can't kill it. You can't eat it.
No, you can't.
No.
Yeah, so don't do that to the turkey, please.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get people triggered by saying change the bird. But in all
for
seriousness, the national anthem was a song that, to me, it doesn't represent the America of today. It just doesn't. America the Beautiful, we can work towards that. You know,
Now,
it's just my opinion.
Now we have people chiming in on IG, and we saying they're saying that America the Beautiful didn't have black people in mind either.
No, I mean, when this country was built, the only reason black people were in mind was to do work. We're talking about all these songs that are 100+ years old, and it's different times. Don't get T-Pain to do an auto-tune version of Star Spangled Banner by any means. That'd be kind of weird. But let's be honest, there's so much outdatedness in the imagery of America. Why can't we refresh them to show that we all are?
So you're saying we're
creative?
living in the history of which America was built.
But the history of this country is embarrassing.
I understand.
It's
understand
not a good thing. I'm sorry.
So that's what I'm saying. So you're saying that we're still living in that history to this day.
We're celebrating Black History Month, and this network isn't doing it for profit. But look at all the organizations that do
Can I
just for
tell
profit.
you though, and this is where I'm going to use my age as a good thing. Okay.
Right.
All right. It has gotten. There's so much work to be done. Please don't misconstrue. It has gotten so much better in my lifetime because it the way that people treat each other, like I'm not joking, call me a big wuss, it just makes me sad. And especially since I've become a parent, that's what it destroys me. It's how do people treat people that way? I don't.
It's a taught.
It's gotten better, but we have so much work to do, and I think we have to talk about both things. We have to talk about, as Art you said, the not proud history of our country in many different ways.
We have to discuss.
Okay, let's break it down.
to discuss
and we're going to get back to sports, but I want to break this down. We talked about this earlier about how we talked about reparations, right? And Sean, your family is not from here, right? Not from here. It wasn't here during the state. You came after it, and for people like that, they don't want to be. I understand that. Why should we have to pay? It doesn't make sense.
I'm sorry, it doesn't.
Right. But for the people who've been a part of this country, and for the people who are still reaping the benefits from the families that were giving, they were giving out millions of acres, millions. We didn't get any. Right. And so
40 acre and a mule didn't exactly come to fruition.
So how does that affect the African American culture, the black communities? What do? They put us in certain areas. We call it ghettos, right? We call it the ghetto. But the government, they call it redlining, right? And what's the fastest way to get wealth in America? Is by getting real estate, right? Real estate properties. And so what's the best way to do it? To put down a down payment, go to the bank to get a loan. These banks, when they see your area code, you're part of that red line, they don't finance your property. So how can you build wealth if you can't get a down payment? And we don't have the $200,000 to $300,000 to make a purchase of a home, We can make the down payment, but we can't make the whole payment. So we can't get financed. We can't start to build wealth for the next generation. All right, let's fast forward. What happens next? The property value of these ghettos of the redlining, these property value goes down, right? And then you go to the school based on your area code. And these public schools are based off of what? How do they get funding? Based off the property taxes of those specific areas. Now the property value is going down. I mean, you get less money per student at that particular school, right? And so now you can't get funding for updated books, computers, right? And that's why you go to, these red line areas of the ghettos, and the high schools look run down. You go to these other areas, and the schools, they have the updated computers. Every student gets a computer, a laptop to go home with. They get all these different things, but you go to one of these ghettos or redlining areas, and they don't get that, right? And it goes deeper than all of that as well. But this is just a small portion of what happens in these areas, right? And so when players or guys make it out playing sports, it's not because we can't make it out doing anything else. It's just that when we can help people who have money make more money, right? Make more money, then that's our ticket out of there. And it's a lot of smart, intelligent people who come from Benton Harbor, right? But not all those people got an opportunity to go to college like I was able to. I was able to play football. And by me getting a scholarship for playing football, I was able to further my education. Everyone doesn't get that opportunity. And that's why, I'm preaching on it, but I know we're going to get back into
Do you know why I smiled at you? I didn't want you to after I did it, I was like, I hope you know that, like, I was smiling at you for a particular reason. Something that I'm involved with, and I did last night, as a matter of fact,
right,
is I interview different athletes for something called Digital Wish, because my eyes were open to this. There are kids, especially once COVID started, there are kids that don't have laptops, don't even have Wi-Fi.
Listen,
to do their school.
That's very much true, right? That's true.
Like when that came across my bow about a year ago, about 11 months ago. So last night, as a matter of fact, I interviewed a guy that plays for the Cincinnati Reds, D. Strange Gordon. Right. And basically the whole point of it is, Joik, it's like you and I sitting in the room talking about your career for 25 to 30 minutes. And the point of it is, we're not only talking about your career, but we're trying to educate people on there are things that are going on in life that the average person doesn't understand. And this hit me. I'm blessed, okay?
Right.
I'm blessed. I'm unbelievably blessed. I don't know how, don't know why. My upbringing wasn't easy, but I was able to do things that I never imagined. And my son can sit in his room in my house and graduate from DePaul College in Chicago. He can do that. My daughter can sit in her room, in her house, and get a great education in a city like Northville, okay? And there are kids, when COVID starts, they don't have Wi-Fi.
They don't have Wi-Fi.
Forget about a laptop.
Yeah.
They don't have Wi-Fi. So basically what Digital Wish does is, Joik Bell, for example, and I'm going to hit you up on this. You don't even know it yet.
Yeah.
But basically you come and do an interview with me. And for 30 minutes, we keep it sports related. We talk about some of the things you're doing in the community. And basically the people out there, Maz, Art, whoever, are watching this and they donate to this. If they like the conversation, if they're a big Joik Bell fan and everything, we need to do more things like that.
Well, we do.
As human beings, we need to do more things like, because there's, I almost swore, I caught myself. So, there's crap going on.
There's crap going
that
on.
If you're not, like, as a human being, you hear that. Joik Bell's daughter wants to go to school, wants to make a better way for herself, wants to go to college, okay? Yeah. And because of this horrible thing called COVID, is sitting at home and can't do it. There's a problem with that. Like, every freaking person, like, wake the hell up, man. I get worked up over stuff.
Worked up.
Because you know what it is? It's like, you need to look beyond you. There are things going on in life that are outside your bubble, and it bugs me.
And you go to these schools, right? And we have Black History Month, and we talk about certain things. Sometimes it's the same stuff, sometimes it's different. But I want to get into, like, when we came here, like, what was it really like, right? What is it really like? And it's so rated. I mean, it's the way that they talk about slavery. I mean, it's way worse than what we know. It's way worse than that. But just let's talk about right now, right? And let's talk about how the redlining or the ghettos are suffering. In my community right now, where I'm from, they have 90% of the kids
Here or
in Ben Harbor.
Okay.
90% of the kids are reading below state level. For the people who out there who know, and it's a rumor, but it has to be some truth to it, that the government takes third grade reading levels around the country, and then they decipher on how many prisons they need to build off the third grade reading level. We talked about this before. Do I think it's a hoax? No, I don't think it's a hoax. I made it a mission of mine through my nonprofit to help the kids in my community have the resources they need to reach the education milestones they want to reach. And so I reached out to a certain program. We talked about this program where it's called Beyond Basic, and I actually talked with the superintendent from my school and the president of this company, of this organization called Beyond Basic. What they do is they take kids that are reading below their grade level, and they have thousands of cases. And one case I would say I read, it was a young man's name. I'm not going to say his name, but he was in the 10th grade, but he was reading at the 5th grade level. Within 14 weeks, they were able to get him from a 10th grade level up to 11th grade level of reading. And that was just one of thousands of cases similar to his. And that's what I wanted to bring to my community. It's very expensive per student, right? But there's grant money, I'm raising money, and then we also have different organizations and different foundations that's part of the Benton Harbor area that are willing to match what I'm doing, all right? And so this is one step, right, is bringing resources. And that's one thing that these redlining areas, they lack. They lack the resources. They don't know anything about credit repair. They don't know anything about investing. They don't know anything about, it's information we need, right? We need information. It's more than just money. If I give you $1, it'll get you some candy, right? But if I show you how to get that $1, it'll feed you for a lifetime, right? Now it's the knowledge we need. We don't need any handouts. We want the information. And so that's what we're trying to bring back to the community is resources. That's what we need.
I think it's great. No, and it's, you know what, I'm a firm believer in Art and I have kind of figured out, he and I agree in a lot of different ways. I have an incredible streak of libertarianism in me. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do. I don't want to tell you what to do. I don't want to tell you what to do. I don't want to tell you. I'm an adult. I can make my own decisions. And so when I hear things like this, do you know what the thing is? You can't mandate that, but you know what you can do? You can appeal to the humanity of people.
All right.
And that's what I do. I'm not telling you that you have to help out causes like this, but why wouldn't you want to help out causes like this?
You know what, though? Because there's so many things, right, that's going on around the world. You have to pick what is most dear to your heart, right? There's a lot of things that's dear to my heart. Like I was doing things with the Michigan Foundation for kidney disease. My sister had kidney failure. She was on dialysis. And so I would do, they'll walk every year with them. I'll try to bring players out. I'll bring my family out. I'll speak at their events. And it was something that was dear to me. What I'm doing now is still dear to my heart, and going back and helping out my community, both in Detroit and in Benton Harbor. The program is already here in Detroit. I think it originated here in Detroit, and I just want to make sure that we can get it out to different areas. So Benton Harbor is one. I want to try to get it to Flint next, and so I just want to do my part in my state and then gradually trickle off. So
Amby said, "How do you appeal to humanity?" You talk about it, 1,000%. You talk about things that might make some people uncomfortable. That you have to talk about it. You have to tell people there's a whole giant world out there other than where you live. There's a giant world out there with a bunch of kids that don't have the same opportunities that my kids have.
Period.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to guilt anybody.
No.
I'm not trying, none of that stuff. It was an eye-opener for me. I mean, it was, and that's why, you've heard me say this before.
Yeah.
As bad as COVID has been, in a certain regard for me personally, it's been a blessing because it made, I don't know, to me, I opened my eyes about a lot of things. If that makes any sense whatsoever, and I pray that it does. You hear about situations like this. You hear about that which you spoke of. You hear about Digital Wish. Steve said in Chicago they gave the kids free Wi-Fi and stuff. Yeah, let's go. What's the harm?
Or you know what would be nice?
Let's find a way to get some laptops.
Yeah,
whatever.
Clean water in Flint would be nice too.
That would be nice. Some clean water.
And it's weird that all these incidents happen in minority areas. I'm not trying to be anti-white or like separated by race, but I mean, I worked in Flint and worked with the Flint water crisis, and it's still happening. It's still,
Now, so this is a story I heard about that, though. In order for them to really fix all the pipes, they would have to shut down the water for months. Now, this is just something I heard.
Yeah, the issue is that Snyder and the Flint City Council made the decision to switch the water because it would be cheaper, and that's it.
From the Detroit water system.
Yeah, Detroit, and the lead pipes that were there for forever that hadn't been used had bacteria.
I know,
and
you know what, Art? I'm glad that you said it that way because I know in America we always have to find the villain now. This was botched across the board.
Oh yeah, it wasn't just Snyder.
Yeah,
it wasn't just Snyder.
And I'm not sticking up for him. I hope you understand that.
Yeah. When you see when they charged him with like another, I could be wrong about another 11 guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was 8 altogether.
Yeah. So it wasn't just him. It was across the board.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. For sure. So.
But I mean, it just goes back to the injustice of and I've seen it because I've worked in these communities that it's like it. For some weird reason, we don't understand why it's happening in minority communities. And I'm not being a crazy liberal. I'm not being a Karen. I'm just being a realist. You can look up the information of the injustices that happen, and it's in minority communities.
Yeah.
So,
well, guys, this is Black History Month, so we will be talking a little Black history. But one thing that we want to get into about the new Lions hire, stay tuned. We'll be right back with Baligian Bell.
Hey, very quickly, we're going to continue the conversation. I have to tell you about my bookie, though. Football's come to an end, and if you're like me, you might be wondering what's next. I got hockey.
Yeah.
But it's also why I like my bookie, because no matter the sport or season, you can always win big now. I'm talking nonstop action, 365 days of the year. Choose from thousands of lines, NBA, UFC, NHL. And the winning can never end when you play at my bookie. They truly have something for everyone, and absolutely nobody does prop bets like my bookie. You can get action in on everything from celebrity divorce to the winner of the All Valley Karate Tournament. Yeah, you can really bet on that. March Madness right around the corner, so start building your bankroll. Do yourself a favor, though. This is where you gotta act now. Get yourself a head start. Sign up today with promo code Woodward. Get your first deposit matched halfway up to $1,000. That's free cash credited to your account instantly on top of your deposit. The best part is you always have access to the action, whether you're at home or on the go. Just visit mybookie.ag today and use promo code Woodward to grab yourself a deposit bonus. Bet, win, get paid at MyBookie. So there you go.
MyBookie.
All right, you were bringing up the issue of the no Wi-Fi for certain.
Yeah, no. As you were talking about it, it's just so. Middle of last month, I had a sit down. Actually, I had dinner with the president of the Beyond Basic of that group, and I also had a meeting with the superintendent of Ben Harbor. So they came over. I had food there. We sat down, we ate, we talked about the issues that was happening in my community, and then we talked about how we felt her program would be a big help to the crisis that we're having there. And so I remember when he was talking, he was telling us about how a lot of, like, some of the kids, they didn't have Wi-Fi at home to do their work. And so, and then they didn't have rides to the school to use their Wi-Fi. So he teamed up with the school district. They got buses, and they were able to pick these kids up from home and bring them to the school. And it's bigger than just Wi-Fi, right? A lot of these kids, they couldn't eat, right? They didn't have food. So a lot of the meals depended on getting to school. And so they gave, I think, they gave out probably over 250,000 meals throughout the COVID process. And it could have been over 300,000, I believe. But they were doing a lot of things with the community to make things happen. And so he came in. He was the youngest superintendent in the I think either in the history of Michigan or this year. He's the youngest one, but it came in and did a great job. He's doing a great job, rather. And so I just want to be a part of that and do my part to help him out and to help out my community. And yeah, it's a good thing. So we have a lot of people chiming in. My boy Darren Hayes said, "My man, you're killing it. Love the show." Do you remember Darren Hayes? He was gone before you got to Wayne State. Darren Hayes played. He played running back, and so it was funny. 2005, I met Darren. He was like my mentor at Wayne State. He was older. He was teaching me the game. He asked me, did I have a Facebook back then? I said, Facebook, what's that? What's
kind of
that?
sounds like me, right?
Like, he said, what's that? I mean, I'm in my head like, what's that? I never heard. He said, you need Facebook. You haven't lived yet till you get Facebook. I said, well, I've been living 18 years without it, so I'm pretty sure I'll be okay without it. But got on Facebook in 2005. I remember it. Never got off. I don't know if he remembers that. But, yeah, Darren Hayes is the one who put me up on Facebook. Fast forward, I also have a person said that they didn't learn about the redlining and the effect that it had on our community until they got to law school. They said they're happy with it. We're talking about it. It's not talked about enough.
It's 100% real.
Not talked about enough.
It's listen, yeah. it extends even into it extends into the suburbs. That's real. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. And again, it's one of those things, Joy, like we were talking about. Like you hear some of the stuff and you're like, well, why wouldn't you want to help people? Right. Why wouldn't you want to help a fellow human being?
It was a football player, and he was trying to get a loan for a home or a project, and he went to 3 different banks, I believe, and they all denied him. Great credit. He had great credit, had a job, was paying well. And so he went into one meeting, and he recorded the meeting, and they said some really disturbing things on there on why he wasn't getting approved. I'm going to get that video. I'll bring it in sometime this month because I don't want to paraphrase it. I want you guys to know exactly what was said in that meeting.
No kidding.
And this is recently. This is not like something that happened, 50 years ago or 20 years ago or 10 years ago. This is like 2017, something like that, 16. So, yeah, we'll bring it in. But these are the type of things that happen that, we never talk about. We just, we just kind of go over it and go to the next subject. So, but we're definitely going to get into it. We have the rest of this month to talk about it, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit more even after February because it has to be talked about.
1,000%.
Yeah. So, another Lions hire. We have a new wide receiver coach in Antoine Randall L.
I loved him in college.
You know what? They keep making these, like, we're winning the draft right now with coaches. We're winning.
I saw Maz made a joke yesterday. It made me laugh out loud. Maz said, maybe we should just put our coaches on the field. We might have a better record than the team. And I literally, I saw that. Maz, if you're in the other room and you're listening, I saw that and I laughed out loud because it's like, we got some players.
Yeah, you remember?
We got some players on our staff.
Oh, yeah. So, did Deuce Staley ever play with Deuce from the Saints at one point in time in his career? Did they play together?
I don't know if they played together. I know they played at the same time. And they spell their names differently, obviously.
Yeah.
McAllister has the E, no E for
Right.
DEUCE
Right.
versus DUCE. I don't know if they ever played together.
Yeah.
I don't know if they ever played together.
I remember, and so it was funny. I remember this one I was in New Orleans with the other dudes, and I remember I tore my PCL first preseason game, and after the game I was kind of limping out of the locker room, and I ran into Deuce, and Deuce said, "Hey, what's wrong with your knee?" I said, "I don't know. Yeah, I get a MRI tomorrow," and he said, "Oh, okay. Yeah, you see how you walking?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Rep that knee up and keep playing." And so I got my MRI the next day. Came back that I tore my PCL. I was out for 6 to 8 weeks. That's what they told me. You're gonna be out for at least 6, at the minimum 6, 8. I sat out 1 week. Came back. I did what Deuce said. Put a compression sleeve on and put a brace on it. Played with a tore PCL and a cracked knee. It was a hairline fracture on my knee. And guess what, Sean? Led the team that preseason in rushing and receiving on one leg. True story.
Art and I were talking before the show. I got this paper cut on my finger, and Art gave me mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Art doesn't.
That's a flag.
Art doesn't.
That's a flag.
Art doesn't want to be known as a hero, but he gave me mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, and he even used the jaws of life to bring me back to life.
I think he liked it.
From the,
I think he liked the mouth-to-mouth.
Well, you know what? I would appreciate Art saving my life. I would. Art, I would hope that you would give it to me.
Yesterday it was you were going to rub ribs all over your body. Today it's I'm giving you mouth-to-mouth.
No,
I don't know if I want to
thirst
produce
trap,
this show.
right?
Bring Corey back.
It's all about the thirst trap. No,
it's all about the thirst trap. What's the thirst trap again, Sean?
Yeah, what is it?
People are going to slide into my DMs.
Ah, you got it.
You got to make a DM first. I'm going to make you an Instagram today after
Art,
the show.
Hold on real quick. So the Art sliding your DM after the Speedo?
He doesn't have an Instagram, ding dong.
You can slide his messages on Twitter, though.
Let's not get too crazy.
I'm just
Jenna
saying.
said, Sean, don't steal Art from Joik.
Hey, Jenna, now. Jenna, don't get on my bad side, Jenna. Like, we all love
Grammy
you.
Wammy's about to check you. Better watch it.
Antron Randall L. Let's get back to it.
Yes, definitely. I like it. This is a guy that was an offensive receiver. He's a receivers coach. He's a guy that understands the position 2 levels. Number one, he understands it as a receiver, and he understands it as a quarterback. And I'm sorry, I think that's important. I really do.
Yeah.
I've always felt like...
You know what? Could you get the perspective of both? There's so many things that's going on in the quarterback head that a receiver won't really know. They just know that if it's cover 2, I'm going to take the middle. If it's cover 3, I'm going to take the hash. They know that.
Yep.
But what's going on in that quarterback head? What's going on? Are they trying to disguise it? What are you seeing? What am I seeing? Is he dropping back? Is the ball coming now? Is it coming later? I'm going to wait for you to clear it. Like, it's a lot of things that's going on. And now Randall L. can come in. Now he can say, guys, listen, this is what he's thinking. So when he's thinking this, we're going to do this because I know that's what he's thinking. All right. And you have a guy who played the position. Now he come and said, listen, I know we teach you guys this and you guys been taught that, but try this and see if it works. Right. And he's been around different athletes, different wide receivers. Talent knows talent. And a guy of this caliber coming in, you can't beat it, right? You can't beat that.
I'm telling you what right now, I feel dirty saying this because I've always shout out to my buddy Steve out there and some Michigan football fans who I think get it now. The talk of winning in off season is so old. What counts is on the field. We all know that, okay?
I hear what you're saying, but we're winning the off season.
We are winning the off season. That's what I'm telling you. I feel dirty saying it.
I don't want to say it.
The Lions are winning in off season.
As a
Gosh,
player,
I feel filthy.
You know what it is, and honestly, as players, we don't talk about this. We just come in, we do work, we know what our capabilities are, and then we wait for the season to start. All right, we wait for it to start, and we take it one day at a time, one game at a time. But we do get excited about certain picks. Like when we picked up Golden Tate, I was excited about that. I was excited about it. When we got Reggie Bush, I was excited. I know he plays running back, but I was excited we got a running back of that caliber to come here. And we had a lot of pieces to the puzzles here. What we're doing this offseason with this coaching staff is we're winning the draft right now. We're winning. We're winning it.
I'm going to be really excited. You know, Steve said what happened to Hines Ward. Maybe they add him yet. I don't know, in a role to be designed. But, no, that's exactly it, says Steve. I'm ready for U of M basketball to be back. You should be. That's real. That's not talking about what you're going to do. Absolutely, positively, 100%. This is why I'm trying to temper it, Joik, because I'm trying really hard to just tell my brain, don't overreact to what season looks like, what next season looks like. Don't overreact. And I can talk rationally right now, but you know as well as I do during the season as a fan, even though you know in the back of your head it's what they look like 2 years from now, during the season, if you're going through an 0-6, here, let me give you an example. Your team in 2015. I smashed my head against the window. I was plate glass windows. You guys weren't that bad. But I can't rationalize that. I can't reason that away. When you guys got off to that crappy start that culminated with literally getting your asses kicked in London, okay? Okay? Mm-hmm. I mean, look, at the end of the day,
we had a lot of distractions. People got fired.
You're right. But at the end of it, do you know what people see, especially when you're thinking with emotion and not your brain? Do you know what people see?
The 6-2 at the end.
You're awful. That team was terrible.
Until when?
What are you? You were 1-7.
You
just got killed. No, but at that moment, Joy, at that moment, what I should have been doing is going, okay, they've had a couple bad. This is not a 1-7 team. Who does that? Nobody does that. The reality was you weren't that bad, and you proved it in the second half. But in that moment, you're 1-7. You just got your butts kicked. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we need some money in the jar.
I didn't swear. I said but.
Before the first time you did.
Did I really?
Mm-hmm. Technical foul.
Yeah. Did you hit the dump? The dump? You hit the button?
I tried, but I couldn't get to it in time. He's just swearing too much.
Did I really swear?
Yeah, put it towards my social media fund.
Did I really swear?
I don't know.
I heard it.
We'll play it back. Mm-hmm. You might have caught yourself.
I don't think I did. But no, you get my point. It's easier said than done. I should have sat back, and people should have sat back and said, okay, just a lot of bad things are going their way to start the season. This isn't a 1-7 team. It doesn't work that way. You know it as well as I do. And so that's what I'm going to try to tell myself every week next year, because, I saw some people, and I know some people get mad, and we had a couple guys on there, I think this team's going to be better than you thought. I don't. But, I think Steve, I liked what Steve said yesterday. He said 6 wins tops. I think that's fair. If they finish 6-10, that's the absolute best they can finish. I want to remember to tell myself, Sean,
I don't want that.
It's not about 2021. It's about 2023.
Let's get through the next couple of years.
Calm your ass.
Relax.
I just swore. Calm your butt down.
Wow.
Calm your butt down.
Look at that.
Calm your.
But you said you catching yourself now?
I caught myself.
You caught yourself now.
But I owe you $1. Put the.
Joyko's about 20 in the rude jar. You're at about 15 in the swear jar. Unbelievable.
Shut up.
Grammy, where are you at?
Shut up.
See, Jenna threw the red flag. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. All right, we'll get the jar out there.
All right, when I'm rude, you can throw it back. Shut up, Art.
Throw it back
right now. That was quick.
That was quick.
All right, back. Listen, we're gonna come back. We're gonna wrap it up. We've got the Smoke Show guys here too. To be honest with you, here, listen. Normally, I know what they did. I don't know today. Really, I don't know today. We talk and we commiserate and we say, all right, so let's start the preparation on something Tuesday afternoon. I don't know what we...
Before we leave, I just got some breaking news.
What?
My 3-year-old daughter today is reading words for the first time. Go, take us a break. Take us a break. Take us a break.
Morning, D-Mac.
Hey, it's Joey from Woodward Sports, and I am here in downtown Fan at Bridge Street Exchange. This place has so many amazing things for guys and ladies. This is the hidden spot that you got to come check out. I'm talking thorough good boots, best boots ever. They have barware. They got the Stormy Cromer hats. They got Carhartt hats, a huge Carhartt selection. They even got Snoop Dogg underwear. So go check them out, bridgestreetexchange.com, and use the code word WSN for 15% off.
Right before the break, we have some breaking news. My 3-year-old daughter is now reading. Said her first words today, read her first book today, or reading words out of the book today, and it's great to see. Oh, and we're sitting here early in the segment, and we're talking about how important education is to me. And for me, education isn't just going to school; it's learning. So, and one thing to me is literacy. And my daughter is not reading at 3. It's my heart is so warm right now. It's so warm. But as we were talking about earlier, we were talking about Randall L. As the new wide receiver coach, and he played both positions, quarterback and wide receiver. So he's able to give two perspectives to our receiver room, which we need. And so I honestly think that we're making this pick right here. Yeah, I think we might be grabbing that wide receiver.
I hope so. You know what's crazy is we've done all these coaching changes, and it's like, okay, well, come on, let's start doing the player changes. Like, I want to see it. You know, I'm excited for this season. I really am.
I really am.
I'm excited for this season in a different way, though. I'm serious.
You're excited to see us lose because you want those draft picks.
Yes.
But we're excited for.
I want them to recreate losing.
Listen, it's a different reason, right? It's a different reason. But the thing that I like about it is that you're going to have a young player coming in who probably watched this guy growing up. And you got to think of the respect that these players have for this coach coming in. And when you have somebody that's been there and done it, you have a certain type of respect for those guys. They've been there, they've done that. Let me take everything I can. Let me try to soak in as much information as I can. Because you don't get this on every team.
No.
You don't get it. We haven't had this here in years.
You get guys like me.
Right.
Okay, Joik, run hard to the hole.
Listen.
Good job, dog.
Listen. The DC and OC played. The running back coach played in the league. The wide receiver coach played in the league. Come on. The head coach played in the league. You have guys who's been there and they want to win. They know what it takes. You have guys who won Super Bowl on the coaching staff. The assistant head coach is also the running back coach, but like I said, played in the league. These are the type of guys that's been there. Now, the downside to that, which is not really a downside, they're gonna have you to a higher standard. It's not a downside, but if you can walk, you can play.
You guys want to be challenged, though, right?
Yeah, I shouldn't have been playing on my knee.
Yeah.
When I was in New Orleans, but I did.
At that point in time, you had to, right?
I had to.
Yeah.
All right. But what that cost me was me not playing in a regular season at the start of the season, where my knee was hairline fracture and I couldn't play on it, and I had to get rehab, which set me down for 2 more weeks and forced me to miss the first game of the season against the Packers, which was a primetime game, which I really wanted to play in, and the second game. And then they cut me because I couldn't play. And then when they brought Will Smith, the late Will Smith, back to the team. And so that's going to be the downside, right? Now, you can play with pain. And this is what we talked about, that football is 90% mental. You're going to play with a lot of, I'm not going to say injuries. You're going to play with a lot of hurts, because my definition of injured is you can't play. Hurt is you're going to play with two dislocated shoulders.
1,000%. I agree with that.
You're going to play with tendonitis. You're going to play with cysts and contusions. You're going to play with broken fingers, broken toes, turf toe. You play with those things. You wrap your finger up, you cut it off, you do what you got to do. You get out there, you play. You finish. You finish the game. And that's the type of mentality these coaches that we have now are going to instill in the players that's coming in.
Richard said, Sean going to carry an oxygen bottle on the field. I got my wind. Trust me, I got my wind. Steve hit the nail on top of the head. I could see Sean pulling a hammy on the first drill. I pulled a hammy just reading that. Done. There it is. Look, you're just sitting there like a little, look at a fish out of water just flopping to the left of me. Absolutely. I got my wind. You want me? I can go. Seriously, I'll go home today. I'll do a half hour on my elliptical. When the weather gets nice, I go bike 10, 15 miles. You asked me to do much more than that. I mean, fish out of water. There's look, there's Sean's hamstring again. Art's raising his hand, by the way, Joy.
I didn't know that you rode bikes. Maybe you won't ditch out on me and we can go for a bike ride.
I would love to go for a
Us two
bike
pals.
ride. I would love to do that. Seriously,
There we go.
you come over. You're coming over to my house next week anyway.
I am.
We have a catch to throw.
Yeah, well, let's not get crazy.
So I can't throw a football to you? By the way, if you're betting on my bookie, if you were saying that Sean would start talking about the barbecue under 4 minutes, you lost.
Use the promo code Woodward.
You should have used the promo code Woodward, and you should have taken the over, because it was about 5 minutes that I waited to start talking about the barbecue that's sitting on the other side of the room right now. My cohorts, my co-hosts, my pals, Mike and Dave are in the house.
What up, Doe?
Mike and Dave, what do we have here today?
Say what up, Doe, one time for the fans.
Do you want? Yeah, Mike, come on up here. What up, Doe? Is the other mic on? Art, can we use the other mic?
It's now.
Or does Mike have to stand next to me?
Yeah, go stand next to.
Here,
go
come
stand
on.
next to Sean.
Yeah, that's
He's
now.
my pal. We can do that.
So what was the question again? What
What
do we have?
do we
going
got
today?
here today? Yeah, what
well,
are we
I
doing
was
today?
lucky enough to be at the butchery today and watch Dave unload that oven. So we've got some pork loin. We've got a pork tenderloin that is rolled out and stuffed with cheese, sun-dried tomatoes, and it's wrapped in bacon. All kinds of pork chops, pork cutlets, and I believe there's a sandwich in there too, a short rib sandwich, right? That was in there. That is something like a little special.
What do you guys have for the vegans? What do you guys have for the vegans in there?
Applesauce, some homemade applesauce. He did a couple barbecue sauce.
Joe's so disappointed.
All right, appreciate it. You guys got a show next. Get out of here.
Get the hell out of here.
I pray the camera was like.
You see my? You know what though? And that's my issue. I wear my emotions on my sleeve.
That's all right. That's all right.
I wear my emotions on my.
That happens.
I know you joke. I know Dave. I know he got something for me over there. I can't wait for him to come up here and prove
it's
me
funny.
wrong.
Somebody said, Vinny said, Sean is like a little kid on Christmas hearing about all the meat. This is how we do. Did I say that right? This is how we do.
You didn't say it like 50 Cent, but you tried.
Okay, this is how we do. No, this is, hey, homies, this is how we do. L-Town for life. No, we've been rolling this way for 30 years.
Rolling.
Listen to it.
Rolling with the homie. Hey, what's that? Hey, what movie is that?
I've been riding
Art,
30 for 30
Art, real
years.
quick. Movie. Hey, what movie is that, Art?
I've got no.
Rolling with the homie. She was kind of crying.
I don't watch
Clueless.
movies.
Rolling with
You
the
just did a
Can you
Clueless.
guys
reference?
start- Can you guys start posting some of the recipes?
You never seen Clueless?
That's something Sean would
Watch
say.
the show, right?
What?
Can we
Clueless?
say that, Dave?
No.
Watch the show?
Back in the
But
day.
not only watch the show, but
Before
if you reach
she
out to
went off the
Dave,
deep end,
Dave has
Stacey
been
Dash was
emailing
that-
We got two
people from
conversations
the queso
going.
recipes
True story.
to the brisket recipes, to the rib recipes. He's been emailing them out to whoever asked, be it on Facebook or YouTube, or reach out to us on Twitter on the Smoke Show WSN.
Do you know what one of the funnest things is, and we did this over the weekend, right? It was Super Bowl Sunday morning. We both happened to be on Twitter at the same time, and so people were kind of showing our pictures of what we did. You know, I did some ribs. Mike made like food for 1,000 and everything.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things like when people start asking us questions, we're all there to help each other. Like there are things, I've said this before. Mike's helped me out with stuff that I couldn't get. I think I helped you out with something maybe.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Maybe.
Did you hear what was going on between Joik and myself? He mentioned, I never would have thought. I feel like you guys have changed bodies. He was doing a quote from the movie Clueless. Joik is a big Clueless fan.
Are you really?
Before she
is
went,
happening?
before she went off the deep end, yeah, I used to love Stacey Dash.
Stacey Dash. Yeah, okay, I get it now.
Before she went off the deep end.
I'm a Clueless fan now too.
Yeah, before she went off the deep end, I was a bit clueless. I was a Stacey Dash fan, like no lie. Yes, you know, I don't, you remember Maya, the singer? Oh yeah,
Maya, the singer?
yeah, Maya the singer.
She was cute as a button.
cute as a button.
Cute as a button.
I won't call her a button, but yeah, she was cute.
Well, you got to remember,
Sean with this 90-year-old.
you got to
cute.
remember, I was
cute
born
as a
in
button.
1932, so
Yeah.
that's the way that we. Boy, Joik, she's cute as a button.
She was looking awfully nice.
Her milkshake.
All right, put it on your
all
face
the
and do it
boys to the
again.
yard.
She was looking awfully
pretty.
pretty. I liked her britches.
You know what though, Sean? You could say if you think a young lady is cute, I think what the young guys say now, I don't. Is it she's strapped?
Let's not get him started.
Yeah. Say she's strapped.
No, he doesn't have an Instagram. We're giving him slings.
Sean, say one time, be like, yeah, she's strapped.
She's strapped. You know what strap was to me? That was my dad getting home from work, and you just hear that belt come off, and you're like, it's beating time. That's what strap was for me.
Here comes the strap.
Here comes the strap.
All right, so yeah, we have the smoke show. So
strap means something else in our hood. So
yeah, what we do is we switch things over, and in a few minutes we'll do the smoke show, and we'll drop it for you.
We'll drop it.
It drops.
It dropped.
It drops.
Okay. I see you, Sean, over there with the drip.
It drops.
I see you with the drip.
Yeah, just wait till you see my thirst trap. It drops.
I don't want to set up your Instagram now. I don't want to be a part of your Instagram. Stop it.
You're asking
Can we
me to
play
get
the video and
closer.
be done? Can we please play the video?
Art's making me get closer, and that's what's going on?
Yeah, getting closer.
Stop it. What is happening?
Thirst trap.
All right, so
I don't know what it is, Sean. It might be the chest hair in the hat.
You like the combo?
Stop.
You like the combo? I got my
It's the
70s
necklace.
chain on. That's exactly
You look
what
like
it
a
is.
used car salesman with the necklace.
No, you know what? I
Beer
just got back from Studio 54. That's where all the cool kids go.
All the cool kids.
You kidding me?
Studio 51.
I was at 54.
He was 3 doors down.
Kidding me?
I don't know, Sean. You shop at Jimmy Jazz.
I don't shop anywhere. You know what?
We're gonna take you to
You know
Jimmy
where
Jazz.
I shop? My closet. Hey, look, there's a pair of pants.
Hey,
That's
this
where
is
I
what we're
shop.
gonna have to do, man. We're gonna have to take Sean. I'm gonna take him to Jimmy Jazz. We're gonna get him geared up. We're gonna do a little segment at Jimmy Jazz. That's what we're gonna do. Yeah.
That's not happening.
Huh?
No, I'm not.
We're gonna
I
do.
don't need a makeover.
No, makeover Mondays.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
You
take.
need some Jordan 1s. You need some nice
come on
fit
now,
jeans.
come on
You
now.
need
We're gonna do it within a budget now. Do it within a budget.
I want a
You wanna
Pearl
get- you
Jam
want-
shirt.
you wanna
I
get
want
you
a-
some
I
off-
want a butchery shirt.
What size should you wear, Sean?
Butchery hat. That's
Sean,
what I want.
What size should you wear? 11?
12.
12?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You want some Jordan? He wants you to come pay $3,000 for some off-whites. That's what you want.
Well, I mean, we're not all Chad Johnson over here.
Egg whites?
You want some
You want me to
off-whites?
make some egg whites?
No,
What?
off-whites.
I tell you what, there's 2 people in this building that have impeccable shoe game, and I recently started getting into the shoe culture. Chad Johnson and Joik Bell. I will give them props.
What?
Chad the other day was wearing some off-whites that were at least $2,000. Like they're my dream shoes.
Yeah.
I almost said, hey,
Mike
let me
and I are
get
both
those
looking
real
at our
quick.
shoes.
Look, yeah, what shoes are you guys rocking
I have
right now?
Adidas. I've gone Adidas.
Okay.
That's what's up.
I grew up with the boys from Run DMC.
Yeah.
What people don't know is
Put it
foot was
on
in
the table. Let the people see.
Are you kidding me?
Put him by the microphone.
There goes my hamstring.
You can barely see him.
There
Look at
goes
it.
my hamstring.
Look, there it goes. There it is.
What people don't understand is in Walk This Way, when they showed those shoes, one of those pairs of shoes were me.
Yeah.
I was hanging out with the boys
In
from Run DMC.
1983,
It was
we
way
had
back
the
in
Adidas.
86.
Hey, that's really gonna be your voice art when you get older. I can see it, cause you do it so naturally. It comes so natural to art. Good morning. I can't do it.
Well, I tell you what, this is the end of this show. It's nap time.
No,
It is-
you know
you
what,
know what?
Jake? What do we
It-
have today for the people to close this
It's
out?
it's honestly my nap time. As soon as I go home, I'm hopping right in my
to the
office.
Wait,
I'm
you
wa-
take a nap for real?
I'm hopping right in my
Naps?
office chair.
I'm Sean Baligian for naps. Absolutely. Get me a live read for naps. Are you kidding me? Absolutely. I'm Sean Baligian for hamstrings as well.
Icy hot.
Jeez, oh,
Hey, Art, who we have today?
We have a video about Black History Month that involves Barack Obama and him winning the election.
Wow, that'd be a good one. You know what? And that would be great for today's segment. And I told you that. I was like, that would be a great one for this segment today.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
All right, listen. Have yourselves a great day.
I gave it to you.
We'll
Shut
talk
up.
to you tomorrow. We'll give you more nonsense tomorrow. And I'm not going to Johnny Hates Jazz
Yeah.
or whatever the name of that store is. It's not happening.
Hey, you guys want Black History? You guys want sports? You got an itching for that? Come get your scratch here at woodwardsports.com. You see that read?
I, Barack Hussein Obama, do solemnly swear
Barack Obama's inauguration as President of the United States was a day few of us believed we would ever see in our lifetimes. And his success seemed to mark a profound change in the history of America's tortured racial politics.
Very few people had ever heard of Barack Obama when he gave a keynote speech at the 2004 Democratic convention. I remember thinking, who is this guy? He was so exciting and charismatic and put forward a vision of America that could excite all of us across race.
There is not a black America and a white America and Latino America and Asian America. There's the United States of America.
Barack Obama was offering the country a kind of aspirational vision of what it could be, and it proved to be politically very, very powerful.
Despite the enormous excitement that had greeted the speech across the nation, when the first-term senator announced his candidacy for president, it struck many as an exceedingly long shot.
There was a lot of hesitation in terms of whether or not a black candidate could win the presidency and whether or not voting for him would be, in effect, throwing away a vote.
Though his presidential campaign focused largely on issues other than race, Senator Obama felt compelled to address the subject after an inflammatory video surfaced quoting his pastor, the Reverend Jeremiah Wright, out of context. With his presidential prospects in dire jeopardy, Obama confronted the issue directly with a brilliantly wrought and deeply personal speech.
I can no more disown him than I can disown my white grandmother, a woman who loves me as much as she loves anything in this world, but a woman who once confessed her fear of black men who passed her by on the street.
I think the fact that Barack Obama had grown up in a household where he did not have firsthand experience with relatives who had gone through the litany of horrors that is in the history of black people in this country meant that he had a perspective on race that very few African Americans in this country have.
We may have different stories, but we hold common hopes. We may not look the same and may not have come from the same place, but we all want to move in the same direction towards a better future for our children and our grandchildren.
There were African Americans who saw the speech and said, oh, okay, he understands where we're coming from. And there were white people who saw the speech and said, he understands that, I'm not a racist, even if I have these ideas that people might think are unpopular about race. That was the masterstroke of that speech.
Obama's unifying message resonated with voters across the country. On November 4th, 2008, they elected him the first African-American president of the United States of America.
Okay, y'all, we got our first black president.
The idea that there is a black president, that black children, that black people can go out and say, there is somebody that looks like me in the White House. And not just Obama, right? Michelle Obama, their children, that there is a family that looks like me in the White House is huge.